After officially revealing who Joel and Ellie's interpreters will be in this adaptation, we wanted to gather all the information from The Last of Us series on HBO that we have so far. Is there a release date? Where can we see it? What is the confirmed cast? Will it be based on the history of video games? Who will be its director? Are there members of the game team involved in its production? All that and much more. Exposed. Premiere date of The Last of Us on HBO. When will we be able to see it? There is still no release date for The Last of Us series on HBO, and it seems that we will still have to wait. Pre-production began last year, just after the release of the video game The Last of Us, Part 2. Some information indicates that we will be able to watch the series sometime in 2022, but right now the dates of any audio-visual production are very volatile due to the current situation with the pandemic. We know, at least, that filming has not begun today. The protagonists have already been confirmed. The cast of the series The Last of Us. After many rumors and unknowns, it has already been officially confirmed who will be the actor and actress protagonist of the series of The Last of Us on HBO. The role of Ellie will be played by Bella Ramsey, a 17-year-old British actress whose best-known role so far has been that of Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones, Lady of Bear Island. He has also played Mildred Hubble in the series The Worst Witch, available on Netflix, and Hilda in the series of the same name. Joel's role will be played by Pedro Pascal, a fashion actor who has recently starred in the series The Mandalorian, has played Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984, Javier Peña in Narcos, and also appeared in several episodes of Game of Thrones, without coinciding in any with Bella Ramsey, among many other minor roles in many series and movies during the last 2 decades. Other characters that will appear in the series. But beware, because although Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal are the only confirmed actors, it does not mean that Joel and Ellie are the only characters in the series of The Last of Us that we know will appear in the series. A lot of attention to the words communicated by Neil Druckmann, director and screenwriter of video games, on International Women's Day on March 8, 2020 through his Twitter account. In it, responding to an HBO content, he stated that his cast of women was joined by other characters such as Ellie, Riley, Tess, Marlene, Maria and others, among which are a 4-letter named character that is probably Abby. Does this mean that all these characters will appear in the series The Last of Us? There is no official confirmation, but it would make sense. Riley appears in The Last of Us, Left Behind, expansion of the first game that tells us events from Ellie's past. Tess, Marlene and Maria are part of the story of the first game, while Abby only appears in The Last of Us, Part 2. Something that leads us to the next topic. Plot and story. What will the series be about? Nor have many details been given about the story and plot of the series of The Last of Us, so we only have to theorize with the available information. This is the only official synopsis that HBO has offered. History takes place 20 years ago after modern civilization has been destroyed. Joel, a seasoned survivor, is hired to get Ellie, a 14-year-old girl, out of an oppressive quarantine zone. What begins as a small job soon turns into a brutal and heartbreaking journey, in which both will have to cross the United States depending on each other to survive. That is, little or nothing, although we take as a departure that the facts of the series will be based on the events of the first video game, The Last of Us, released on PS3 in 2013, expanding the known events. In it, the story is the same that summarizes the synopsis. The civilized world ends when a pandemic caused by the cordyceps fungus is unleashed, affecting all humans and turning them into violent, cannibal and primitive creatures. A simple bite is enough to get infected. An incurable human loss affects Joel in the early stages of the pandemic and marks his life in the following years, where he barely survived by carrying out jobs and all kinds of assignments, including violent and inhuman ones. Her life takes another turn when Ellie stars in one of these assignments, a young woman who seems very important and with whom she will have to live and cooperate until her mission is fulfilled. The video game is considered one of the best works of the medium of all time, and if you want to play it today you have 2 options, with the original copy and a PS3 or with the remastered version that you can enjoy on PS4 or PS5. Will The Last of Us series take into account the events of The Last of Us? Part 2. The truth is that we don't know right now. There are rumors that yes, added to the possible presence of Abby that we have commented on before, and that only appears in the second part of the game, although it could be perfectly introduced in the chronological events of the first part. Would that make sense? The sequel happens a few years after the events of the first part, so it would be complicated but not ruled out. Maybe for the second season. Nor can we rule out that many freedoms are taken in the script or that the events of the game are only a focus where to generate a different story. The creator and director of the series, Craig Mazin. Craig Mazin is one of the most important figures in the Last of Us series for HBO, since he will not only direct the chapters and be a scriptwriter of the series, but he is counted as one of the main creators. This 49-year-old American has recently stood out for creating and producing the Chernobyl series, also from HBO, whose work helped him receive an Emmy Award in 2019. Chernobyl 2019, his previous career is not so spectacular, but he has participated in projects such as Hangover 2, scriptwriter, Superheroes, the movie, actor, screenwriter, producer and director, or in Scary Movie 3 and Scary Movie 4 as a screenwriter and producer, respectively. He has declared himself a fervent admirer of the work and has full confidence in the team of Naughty Dog, the game's developer studio. In this regard, Neil Druckmann, director and screenwriter of the 2 installments of The Last of Us, commented the following in an interview conducted by EW. By eliminating the interaction of the story because it is not a video game, how do you make it unique for another medium? It's an interesting challenge and I think there is a lot to learn. Craig Mazin had ideas for doing the adaptation and it was intriguing to work with another creative I admire. It became obvious and it had to be done under the umbrella of HBO. Neil Druckmann is very involved in the project. And since we are talking about one of the most important people in the video game franchise, it should be noted that Neil Druckmann is part of the series team as executive producer. This means that you are part of the creative leadership, and you will be part of the team that makes the most important decisions. This serves us to know that a capital figure when it comes to the creation and direction of video games is also very involved in the creation of the series, so we can trust his criteria. What is impossible, at least with the information we have at the moment, is to point in some direction in terms of quality and fidelity. What do you expect from HBO's The Last of Us series with all the information available so far?